happiness should not be dependent on outside factors. That's what the world is selling us with all the advertisement and in the newspapers and everything, but happiness comes from a place inside.
Fabian, how are you?
I'm good, yeah. It's been a big day, a big 3 months in India.
Experience.
In these 2 years, it was, especially lately, was beautiful experience because I got more in touch with myself and my body and my mind. I had to work on it. Before, everything was smooth for me. I was a professional athlete. The body always worked. The mind was in a good place. But now when I met this accident, I really had to shift some things and cope with it. I managed relatively quickly. Probably resulted of this 1 month yoga course I did in southern India right before the accident. Somehow it had to be this way. So yeah, it's been a big challenge. It was not always easy. There were some dark moments, but generally I enjoy the process and it's still going. And yeah, it's been a journey, quite a big journey. Yeah.
Which makes you happy?
What?
More stronger.
Yeah, it's I think the resilience you get as a sport, because sometimes when we wanted to ski down a certain mountain, we went with our backpacks and the tents in minus 20, minus 30 degrees. We went up hours, 2-3 hours. We set up the camp. Then to get the good light in the morning, we had to go 2 a.m., 3 a.m. out of the tent. Everything was freezing, back into the ski boots, and then walking for 4 or 5 hours, and then skiing down. So a lot of energy went in, and this built up resilience, which I can use now. So the sport is one point to keep me happy still, but then it was more not only the yoga, but a big part was the yoga and seeing my mind from a different perspective, seeing that I'm not the body, that I'm not the mind, that I'm like pure awareness, a thing that's in Indian culture and in Hinduism and in everything. You hear it a lot, but I managed to experience it, and this helped me through the incident. Yeah.
You will disseminate yoga in other country?
Yeah, I could imagine, like first I need to recover my body in a good way, and then I could imagine teaching. Maybe not as a main job, but every now and then, a few periods in the year, teaching like-minded people, like other athletes, but even also spinal cord patients, or like other, because I did the yoga therapy mainly, and I was surprised how well you can apply it to a broken ankle, to back issues, to spinal cord injury. So yeah, I'm not sure where the future will take me, but definitely I try to pass on my experiences.
How do you feel about life?
Life in general. Life is exciting. We should consider how we experienced life when we were a kid. You know, just running around, looking at the butterfly, looking at the tree. Everything is interesting. You just explore. But then at some time when you grow up, all this fades away, and then problems come into your world, and taxes and accounting and a job and making a living and relationship dramas and whatnot. So sometimes I imagine myself as a child, like just exploring. We get one life for sure. Maybe in Indian culture it is that we are reborn. We get more lives, but still it's the brief moment we have here on earth, and we should use it no matter the circumstances. So this also helps me now with the injury. I'm still very happy. Every day is a new day for exploration in myself and outwards. And I think we should not lose that, because it's easy to get involved in all these problems, and it's yeah. Definitely it's a bit my nature. I was always way too optimistic sometimes, and I always smiled a lot, but there were also darker moments even before this accident where I was not sure how to get out of it. So I think it's going deep, going inside. Our acharya, our yoga teacher, used to say that happiness should not be dependent on outside factors. That's what the world is selling us with all the advertisement and in the newspapers and everything, but happiness comes from a place inside. And it sounds cheesy in the beginning, but it's actually true if you go deep. And then you can enjoy the external world and all the external things. But if you're only dependent on those, at some point it will break away. Your relationship might collapse. One of your parents might die. Everything can happen, right? And if you're always dependent on outside factors, then you are you're not in control. So you should tap that inner force, that inner energy. For me, yoga was one of the ways, but you can go into kung fu, you can go dancing, you can take walks, you can just meditate. But that was one thing for me to realize it, not just intellectually, but actually experience that happiness from inside.
थैंक यू फेबियन, थैंक यू।
Thank you.
तो ये हमारे साथ है फेबियन, और जिन्होंने ज़िंदगी की ओर में बताया कि किस तरह से वो लद्दाख में इतनी ऊंचाई से गिरे और उसके बाद ज़िंदगी उनके लिए कितनी मुश्किल हो गई थी, लेकिन लाइफ हमेशा चलती रहती। तो ज़िंदगी की ओर में फिर मिलेंगे। नमस्कार।